The intro to the customer service standards. The 10-foot and 5-foot rule. So whenever guests approach in 10 feet, we must initiate an appropriate non-verbal salutation. We make eye contact and smile. And whenever guests approach within 5 feet, we must initiate an appropriate verbal salutation. We greet them and offer assistance. Beverage service basics. Glassware will always be carried, served, and cleared on a tray, except bottled waters and wine. The beverages will be poured and served from the guest's right side using the right hand, unless it benefits the guest to do otherwise, i.e., you can't reach the glass. It will be risky or unsafe. Beverages should be served in the first 3 minutes of being ordered. Beverage service, glass handling. Beverage service is always performed from the guest's right side, and that's with the right hand. Always handle stemware by the stem or stemless glasses near the base of the glass. Whether serving, clearing, or restocking glassware, always use a tray when guests are present. The only exception is whenever you are serving, clearing, or carrying a single glass. Never bust glassware with plates and flatware. Glassware can be top-heavy and unstable. Beverage services. The 3 R's: refill, all refillable beverages, hot coffee, iced tea, or coffee, and when glass is half full. Replace by offering an appropriate beverage subsequent, i.e., a red wine following a white. Remove when an empty, finished beverage will not be followed by another selection. Beverage service water. Water, still or sparkling, should be offered before or along with other beverages. Whenever possible, water should be served before other beverages arrive. Do not serve ice or citrus with water unless it is requested by the guest. And whenever possible, water will be poured tableside directly from the pitcher, bottle, and into the glass. However, if it benefits the guest experience, pick up the glass to refill. Never fill a glass a guest is holding. Politely take the glass from the guest to refill. Water service continues until the guest declines more water or departs the dining room. Guests should never have to ask for water. Be proactive. Beverage service, wine service standards. Servers must be knowledgeable about all the wines by the glass offerings. Be able to recite the 3 V's of every WBG, the vintner, varietal, and vintage. Be able to describe each varietal's typical characteristics. Be proficient in opening still and sparkling wine bottles. Know the proper vessel for the varietal and wine type available. Know the proper service quantity for wine pairings. The WBGs and bottle service. Be able to offer sound wine pairing advice and the recommendations for each menu item. Wines must be delivered before the accompanying food course is served. Beverage service. Coffee. Coffee will be offered to every table and should be served at the table in the guest's presence. If the guest is away from the table, wait to pour the coffee until they return. You will present the creamer and sugar candy in the center of the table, to the right of the guest's dessert. Flatware. Add a teaspoon, then mark a cup and the saucer with the handle at 4 o'clock. If you notice your guest is left-handed, mark all items on the guest's left. Do it with the cup handle at 8 o'clock. After the table is marked for coffee service, pour the coffee. Fill the cup 7/8 full. Refill the coffee frequently, but no later than when a cup is half full. Busting the table. Clearing and cleaning courses during the dining experience. Clear dirty plates and flatware as soon as, but not before, all guests have finished. The nonverbal exception to the rule is when guests verbally ask you to take a plate or when they ask non-verbally by stacking or pushing plates aside. If you are unsure if one guest is done, approach the guest and ask, "May I clear your plate?" Never stack plates at the table or carry more than you are comfortably can. It is preferred that you clear the entire table efficiently in one trip. Ask for help if there is too much to clear by yourself. Pretend that there is an invisible line that extends from the guest's chin and to the center of the table. Avoid reaching across this line and in front of the guest. Guests are cleared from the right and using the right hand. Move clockwise around the table. If the circumstances make it problematic to clear a guest from the right side, you may clear from the guest's left using your left hand. See open-handed service. After entree is cleared, return to the table, and finish by removing the S&P shakers, salt and pepper shakers. By removing the salt and pepper from the table is a visual cue for the server to present dessert menus. To bust the table, that is to clear the table after guests that leave the restaurant. Wait until all guests have left the table before busting a table. Begin by checking and cleaning the floor beneath the table of debris or guest items, immediately making the effort to return any forgotten items left behind from their owners. Then clean and straighten the chairs, and only then address the tabletop. What? Checking the cleaning table beneath debris, guests, and immediately making the effort to return. That makes sense. Clean, straighten the chairs, and then the top. Okay, it's backwards. Bust tables by using a tray. Hold the tray level to your hand. Do not place it on the table. Any flatware that is on the table should be cleared after the plates have been placed on the tray or in your hand. Never stack items on the table in front of guests. Once all items are bussed, take them directly to the dish station. See dish station etiquette. Checkbacks, aka quality checks. So, within 2 bites ideally, or 2 minutes from food was served, server must ensure that the correct items were delivered to each guest and assesses guest satisfaction. Checkbacks can be nonverbal or verbal. Many operations that require the entree checkbacks must be verbal because it is typically the most expensive food item and therefore the item that can least afford to comp if incorrect. However, for other courses, if a server approaches the table and guests are aware of their presence, then if guests seem satisfied at reading items served and don't inform the server of a problem, then that would qualify as a nonverbal checkback. Servers must continue to read the guest. If later they notice that a guest has stopped eating an item or appears to no longer be enjoying their food, perform a verbal checkback. If there is a problem with their dish, remove that item at the time and ensure that the guest will be corrected. Then inform the instructor and chef immediately of the situation. Dessert orders. Although we serve a 3 or 4 course prefix menu, not every guest will pre-order their dessert. If a guest must be presented with the dessert menus, servers should spiel a recommendation. We always identify each dessert and any modification when delivering items to each guest. The dining room conduct. We are on stage. Be careful that your actions are not misinterpreted from across dining room. Remember, 75% of communication is nonverbal. Offer a sincere smile and have direct eye contact with guests. Always stand up straight in the dining room and the public areas. Never lean or slouch. Always face the dining room. Someone may need assistance. Do not move through the dining room with blinders on. When walking through the dining room, always yield to guests. To refrain from personal conversations in guests' public spaces of the restaurants. At quiet and or slow movements during service, do not congregate in the dining room. No more than 2 servers should be standing together at any time. And when the we are bussing or stressed, we must not look distressed or overwhelmed. The guests should see our actions as seamless and always in control, or they may feel burdened. Avoid interrupting guests' conversations, but proceed with service. If it is necessary to interrupt a guest to proceed with service, to do so, but always say, "Excuse me" or "Pardon me" to a person speaking. There is an invisible line that extends from the guest's chin to the center of the table. Avoid reaching across this line and in front of the guest. Unless solicited, do not inform guests of your name. The guest doesn't need to learn our names in order for us to provide excellent service and hospitality. To refer to the guest by their name whenever appropriate, i.e., when you're returning their credit card. Directing the guest to a destination. Ideally, guests will always be escorted to the destination. Walk them part way to the destination if your hands are full or have a conflicting duty to perform. You may direct the guest to their destination with friendly, concise directions, using an open hand, not by pointing with your finger. Dish station etiquette. Respect our dishwashers and mise en place. 70% of breakage loss occurs in the dish station. To empty all liquids into the dump bucket. Put food waste in the composting bin, not the garbage. Put glasses and cups in the correct rack. If you do not know which one is the correct one, ask. Place glassware in the highest part of the glass rack that's reachable. Fill the rack from the top down. And if a rack of glassware is full, pull it down, load it in the machine, and replace using an empty rack. Place all flatware in the soak bin. Scrape plates by using a spatula, never with another plate or banging plates on the trash cans. Stack like with like. Bowls on bowls, that's similarly sized plates, etc. Clumsy stacks lead to the breakage. Keep food off the floor in work areas. Firing tickets. We do not auto-fire courses. Depending on guest needs, firing times may be quicker or slower. Adjust your fire times to the guest. If they eat faster, fire sooner. If they eat slow, you wait to fire. And if it appears that more than 10 minutes will pass between courses, get your instructor involved. Remember, the next course needs to be fired before the current course has been cleared. Always allow enough time to clear, crumb, and mark the table before the next course arrives. Food service, plate handling. Serving food. To ensure that the table is current, see definition of table maintenance. Food should always be delivered from the guest's left using the left hand. Some of the tables prevent service from the left. Do not open hand service. Make sure you know the chef designated 6 o'clock position for every menu item. Carry the dish so that it can be placed in front of the guest correctly. Okay?